fastest way to get a gig is to make your own. I'm going to teach you how to do that today, but I want to make something very, very clear. Having great music and a great brand, that's what's going to get you on the festivals and the tours and playing all the really great clubs. But my students still come to me. They say, Justin, you've thrown like thousands of shows, which I have. I'll put up some of my articles of my shows here. My students will still say, Justin, you've put on all these shows. Can you just show me how to put my own gig on so I can DJ it? And I'll always respond, well, don't you want to just make great music and build a great brand and do it that way? Because it's true, I get it. It's going to take you longer to make great music. It's going to take you longer to build a great brand. But still, my students want to try their hand at building their own party, building their own gig, and playing their own show because it really is a faster way. I'm not saying it's a better way. It'll probably take you less time if you really, really want to start playing as soon as possible. If you don't know, I'm Justin. I run Cosmic Academy, an artist development school. Been around for over 10 years, and we've taught over 700 amazing artists and students. And all we care about is results. And our students, they get them. They sign to the biggest labels like Spinnin, Monstercat, Anjuna, Toolroom, and they play hundreds and hundreds of shows every single year. They play the biggest festivals like Ultra and Electric Zoo. They play EDC, which said 3 students play EDC last year. And they go on tour, and sometimes they do create their own gigs. So while we still want you making great music, building a great brand, some of them have started to create their own parties and create their own shows. Okay, so you're gonna need 3 things to do your own show. And by the way, now would be a great time, hit that subscribe button because this video is going to be in multiple parts. When I typically teach this in my program, it takes 4 hours, and I don't want you watching a 4-hour video. So I'm gonna get you through as much as I can, as quick as I can, but subscribe to our channel. There's going to be more about this exact topic. Okay, so you need 3 things to build your own gig. You need the venue, you need promotion, you need to build a party. And when I say the party, that means something very, very specific. And I want to clear that up right now. It is not your job to just do a good DJ set. Your job is to throw a party. Think about the big artists who do this at a massive level. You're not just going to see Above and Beyond DJ, you're gonna go see Group Therapy, that's their party. You're not just gonna go see Eric Priz DJ, you're gonna see Hollow, his party, his show. You're not just gonna see Tale of Us DJ, no, on TikTok, they're all over the place. They do something called Afterlife, that's their party, that's their show. And some of our students do this very well. Check out our students Andrew and Gino, they go by Calusa, and they've started this party called Hurry Up Slowly. And now it's starting to pop up all over the world. It's incredible. So before you even start doing this, you want to start coming up with a brand of the party, a theme of the party that in some way is connected to you. Well, plenty of time to get there. Let's start with the first part. Number 1, you need a venue. Without a venue, you have nothing. Without a home to do this, there is no party. And I will encourage you to avoid using venues like warehouses or event spaces or like non-regulated structures. Essentially, you want a venue that already has a liquor license, already have infrastructure, they have a staff, they're able to serve customers. My students will come to me, they'll say, oh, we found this great space, it's like a warehouse. But if you decide to do something there, are you sure you know what you're getting yourself into? You need to buy alcohol. Do you know how many bottles of vodka, gin, how many beers, how much wine, how much soda, how many waters 100 people might need? How about the napkins? How about the cups? How about the servers, the bartenders, the barbacks, the ice, the coolers? Do you need refrigerators? Well, then you need a generator. And let's talk about power. And are you building a stage? Because by the way, you might need permits for all this stuff. And if you don't have them, it's not fun getting fined or arrested over this. So I would encourage you to stick to bars and lounges and restaurants. And yes, you heard me correctly, restaurants. When I started out, I couldn't get a bar or a club or a cool lounge to give me their space. I was so new that I had to go to restaurants and kind of convert them for that night into something that looked like a club or a DJ space. And some of them were actually pretty cool. Probably the first 50 or 100 parties I threw were in restaurants that I turned into parties. And that's totally fine because they're set up, they're able to serve customers. And if you have great promotion and a great party built in, that's all you need. So how do we get the venue? So this is something you want to do physically. I'm not going to be showing you like any emailing tricks or anything like that. Most venues are not going to give you their venue because you wrote a crafty email. No, they want to meet you in person. This is a handshake kind of a business, kind of a look the person in the eye kind of a business. So look around around your town, in your city, in your area, you're gonna have bars, you're gonna have restaurants, you're gonna be places that you can go to. And before you decide to pitch a venue, you want to collect information to make sure that that venue doesn't have any red flags that are gonna come up and destroy your party, which will then in turn hurt your brand and hurt your reputation. So you're gonna go to one of these venues first and collect information from the most powerful person. The most powerful person in a venue is the bartender. Do not walk into one of these places and immediately pitch it or immediately ask for the manager or the owner to pitch your show. No, you go to the bar, you sit down, you talk to the bartender because you need information. So you're gonna sit down, and make sure that you're not messy or drunk. Don't be ordering booze or shots, and make sure that you're dressed somewhat professional, because if you do this right, you're going to be pitching some sort of a partnership between you and them. They're not gonna want to partner with someone that's disheveled or drunk or messy. So how you show up matters. Order yourself a soda, a Sprite, a Diet Coke, and make conversation. Now's also a good point to remind you, you don't want to be doing this at 2 a.m. on a Saturday night or at a really hot time when this venue is busy. You want to do this at a dead time when essentially no one's there. So yes, you want to get a few pieces of information from the bartender about the venue that's going to help you decide if this place is even possible for you to do. First, you need to figure out how late this venue can serve till. If this is a restaurant and they're doing food service till 10 p.m. and then they're not allowed to serve liquor past 11, you're probably not gonna be able to do a party there. It only gives you an hour of time to do anything. So we want to figure that out. The way I like to talk about this is, I'm not trying to be creepy to the bartender. You don't want to just come out and say let me see your liquor license. I pretend and I claim that I might be out of town, but I have some friends meeting me later tonight. And oh, by the way, they're gonna be kind of hungry. So how late is the kitchen open till? And I think we're gonna have some drinks. So when is last call? If you don't know, last call is when that's the last chance to be able to order a drink. That's when the service of alcohol will stop. And if the answers to those questions work with your kind of event, you might not care if the service of alcohol ends at 1 a.m. because you're not gonna do a 4 a.m. late night rager, then maybe that works for you. But if they tell you a time that doesn't work, immediately cut it off, tip the bartender, thank them very much, go to a different venue. It's not good to try to force something that's not gonna work for your party. And now you wanna figure out, does this venue do what we call in-house promotion, or do they have outside groups come in and do things on their nights? The way I ask this is, again, I'll claim and pretend that I have friends meeting me, and I'll say, hey, we actually might come back another night. Do you have any promoted nights? Do you have a special on Thursdays or a hip hop night? And they might say, yeah, we actually do. We do a hip hop night on Friday nights. We have ladies night on Saturday nights. And then you're going to ask, oh, wow, that sounds incredible. Does an outside group come in and do that, or do y'all do this in-house? And here's why that's very, very important. If those nights are not run in-house, so in-house means it's just run by them internally by the venue. If they're not done in-house and they're bringing outside groups to do those nights, it's gonna be very hard for you to do your party on those nights. They're not gonna kick out an established relationship, an established group to try you. So you need to figure out that information before you waste the time of a manager or an owner or someone when you pitch your party. And now that you have that information, it's time to talk to the person that calls the shots. As a side note, while you're doing this, check the furniture around you. Start looking, where would I set up the DJ booth? Where would the dance floor be? You might even want to lift some furniture up, because if there's tables and chairs and things are bolted to the ground and there's not really an area for a DJ booth or for a performance area, then maybe just the layout's not going to work. Okay, like I said, now it's time to talk to someone to pitch. Hopefully by now the bartender likes you and you have some sort of rapport. You say, listen, I really love the venue. I think you're fantastic. What's your name? Get her name. Let's pretend it's Ashley. You say, hey, Ashley, where I'm from, I do a lot of events. I really love the venue. I'd love to put on a night here. I'd love to do something here. Who do I talk to about that? And if you've been kind and respectful and tipping very nicely, then hopefully she tells you, the gatekeeper, who that person is. And let's pretend that person's name is Kevin. So Kevin, the manager, runs the show. He runs the venue. And what you're going to want to do is work out something with Kevin, which is what we call a full deal. A full deal is not a venue rental. You are not trying to rent out this bar. You are not trying to buy out this venue. If you do that, they're going to charge you a flat amount of money. It's going to be very expensive and close off the venue for you privately. That's what you do when you go to a wedding or you're doing a sweet 16 or you're renting out a room for an anniversary. That's a venue buyout. You want to avoid that. So a full deal is when the venue is fully open. It's open for everyone, but you're essentially entering into like a partnership with the venue where you're going to get 100% of the door, which is the cover fee, the tickets that you're charging. You get 100% of that. You keep that. And then the venue keeps the money from the bar, the alcohol sales, the drink sales, bottles, food, all that stuff. Now, technically, you can try to negotiate a percentage of the bar as well. It gets a bit complicated, and I don't want to bore you with the specifics, but getting something like 10 to 20% of a bar is not unheard of. Like sometimes as I got more successful in my career, I'd get 20% on the low end. I could get upwards of 30%, but of course I was a professional concert producer. That's what I did for a living. I had big teams and we had really good results on what we did. So maybe you can get 10%. But let's use some easy math on what a full deal looks like. Let's say that for the door, for tickets, for cover, you're charging $20 a person. Let's say that 100 people come. That's $20 a person times 100 people. That's $2,000 that you made from the door. And if the bar does 3,000 and you're getting, let's say 20% of the bar, that's an additional 600. So now you just made 2,600. But that might not be profit because you're going to have expenses, and those expenses should be used to make the party even better. For instance, the concerts that are behind me, Cosmic Opera, some of my shows that I've done, we would bring in, $500,000 sometimes, but it might cost us $500,000 to put on the show with the production, the lights, the lasers, the CO2 explosions, and all that stuff. This is obviously on a much smaller scale. And as I said before, I will talk to you about building your party and coming up with those ideas in a later video. So another reminder, subscribe. So let's go back to, you're about to approach the manager and pitch this. And Kevin was his name. And everyone always asks me, like, what's a good opening line? What's a good icebreaker? I always think the best opener with people is a compliment, saying something nice and gracious. And I like to compliment their staff. So I'll go up to this gentleman, this person, Kevin, who's the manager. Say, hey, Kevin, right? I'm Justin. Great to meet you. I just want to tell you real quick, Ashley, your bartender, absolutely fantastic. She's just been so hospitable and she makes the best mojito I've had in town. He'll obviously thank you because you're really complimenting him as well. You're complimenting his hiring skills. And now you're also in agreement because he probably thinks that she's good at the mojitos too. And now is when you're going to present your idea and say, hey, I'd love to put something together. I love this space. I love the venue. Let's put something together. Let's do a night, a Friday, 2 months from now. Now, if he tries to push a venue rental on you, you're going to have to pay upfront money, which again, I would avoid. Now, there's two other things that might happen. Within a full deal, there's something known as a bar guarantee and a bar minimum. In a bar guarantee, you are guaranteeing the venue. You're given an absolute guarantee that it's going to hit a certain number. And if it doesn't hit that number, it's going to come out of your pocket. What that means, and look, you can also use this as incentive. You can say, hey, I really want to do a party here. I don't want you to feel like you might lose money. So I'm going to do a bar guarantee. I'll guarantee the bar is going to make $1,000. And what that means is if the bar doesn't hit 1,000, let's say the bar does $700 in drink sales, you're on the hook for the $300. Now you have to be very, very careful here because if you overestimate how much the bar might make and you say offer a guarantee of 10,000, but the bar could never make more than 3,000, you're going to lose a lot of money. So here's my best tip for that. You got to try to do some math here before you pitch this manager, before you pitch Kevin. From the data that's out there on live events and bars and nightlife, the average person will order around 3 drinks or 3.5 drinks, which again is not perfect. There's obviously people that order less and people that order way more, but call it 3 to 3.5. And then you look at how much a drink is at this specific venue. So you say, okay, I think I'm going to have 100 people. Drinks are $10. People might order 3 drinks. So it's $30 per person times the 100 people. That's $3,000. Now, again, that's assuming you have 100 people come. Being a good negotiator, though, So you don't want to just off the bat offer him that guarantee. You want to start somewhere lower and then come up higher if you have to. Now, like I said before, there's also something called a bar minimum, which is less aggressive. In a bar minimum, you don't have to guarantee the money. Like, you're not going to potentially lose money on that night from the bar. But what you're saying is that you won't make any money off the bar until it hits that number. For instance, if the bar hits $1,000, but it was supposed to hit $3,000, he doesn't have to pay you the percentage of the bar that you were going to get. And by the way, during this conversation, during this negotiation, if for any reason that manager or that owner, Kevin, tries pushing you around and pushes up numbers of guarantees or venue rentals, just walk away. They might notice that this is the first time you're doing it, you're kind of new, and these folks, they want to make a lot of money. They might be trying to take advantage of you. It's kind of a dark industry, so walk away if things don't look right. You know, there's always another venue. So be careful out there. You want to do a full deal, hopefully a bar minimum, not a bar guarantee. Bar guarantee if you have to. Try to always avoid the venue rental. Once you've had this conversation, type it up in an email, send it to that person, have them agree over email. It's very unlikely that you're going to have someone that's going to have a pen and you're going to have the piece of paper, it's going to have a contract typed up. These folks are really not like that until you get to the higher levels. So, getting them to confirm on an email might be the best that you can do in terms of a contract. But truth be told, even if shit hits the fan, even if you get screwed or there's $1,000 out and it's missing and you're owed money, you're probably not going to go to court with these people. I would also suggest try to do this over maybe 2 different visits. Maybe do the bartender part of this, one day, come back a few days later, and then do the manager pitch. But try to get to know the staff, try to get to know the people. Just doing this the first time, you might be too strange, you might be too, distant. And that's why just sending a pitch over email or in the DMs almost never works. I would say that 99% of every venue I ever got was me walking in there just like this. Okay, now you have the venue, but we now need to figure out, how are you going to bring those 100 people? How are you going to be promoting and marketing this party? So make sure that bell is on, the subscription is there. I don't want you to miss that. That's coming soon. But while you wait, I have an amazing video I did on the 3 different ways that you can play festivals based on the 3 different ways our students have played EDC. So go watch that one right now, and we'll see you in there.